Hello everyone, it is week number 4 for Biology 120 lecture. This week we're going to talk about cellular respiration, which is a way that we break down food, we as organisms. We break down food to produce ATP molecules, which are energy-rich molecules that fuel all the enzymes that work in our cells. And also some photosynthesis, which of course is making glucose using carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight energy. So let's see what we've got going on. If only I can get the slides to change. Okay, here we go. So last week we looked at classification of organisms, especially prokaryotic versus eukaryotic organisms. Prokaryotic are the bacteria, eukaryotic are everything else. So animals, plants, fungi, protists. So many other organisms. We looked at the types of cells that they each have. Bacteria have very simple cells, no organelles. Eukaryotic cells have lots and lots of compartments or organelles inside their cells, like a nucleus, mitochondria, chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, and lots more. So we did look at those cell structures, and we discussed antibiotic resistance in bacteria. And I think it was Vinny who said, you know, how scary it's been in the last couple of years to even hear anything else about microbiology. And that is true since we've been dealing with COVID. But even before COVID, one of the 10 most troubling public health issues in the world was, and still is, antibiotic resistance in bacteria, because we're running out of effective antibiotics to treat bacterial infections. So it's still a really important topic. Okay, so what do you have going on this week? Skim through chapters 6, 7, and 8. Okay, in your OpenStax textbook, which is free, Biology 2nd edition. Don't forget about that. Use that as a resource. Skim through the chapters so you know what is there, okay? You don't have to read them in great detail to start with, but you need to know where everything is in those chapters. So skim through them. Watch my video on aerobic and anaerobic cellular respiration processes. Please, please, please. This will help you a tremendous amount. It will show you the difference between the two, how they're related and how they're different. Okay? And then read the module for introduction and watch the video on the carbonated ocean, because one of the problems that goes along with having excessive carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is that then it can diffuse into water and lower the pH of that water, including the pH of the ocean. Yeah, which is crazy. So you've got quite a few things to do this week. I'm just warning you. You got 3 things that you have to be working on. Your discussion board postings. The first question to answer to your classmates is, are photosynthesis and cellular respiration processes opposite or complementary, or both? Now, here's something for you to know always. If somebody asks you a question like this, you know the answer is both. Otherwise, they wouldn't have included or both, right? So the first thing to do is look at the equations for these 2 processes. In photosynthesis, you start with carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight energy, and you end up with glucose. When you look at cellular respiration, which is the breakdown of food, you start with glucose, and you break it down, and what do you make? CO2, some water, and energy molecules, ATP molecules. That's cellular respiration. So are they opposite? Kind of seems like it. Are they complementary? One other thing to remember is this. Those organisms that do photosynthesis and make their own food in the form of glucose also do cellular respiration. Because what's the point of making glucose if you don't ever break it down to make energy molecules that you need, right? So anyway, that's a couple of things for you to think about. You'll also answer the question, are the autotrophs. So autotrophs are self-feeders, and that means those organisms that do what? Photosynthesis. Are autotrophs the foundation of all ecosystems? So that's a good question for you to think about, because we want to tie in what we're learning about to bigger pictures like ecosystems. And in your response post, 2, remember, that are due by Sunday evening, you're going to discuss carbon dioxide release and its consequences. And this is excessive amounts of carbon dioxide through, of course, something like the burning of fossil fuels. So what are the consequences of this? And remember, you get that video on the carbonated ocean, so that's one effect, but there are lots of other ones. All right, you also have a journal entry due this week. Like I said, this is pretty intense as far as work goes this week. You have a journal entry where you discuss aerobic versus anaerobic respiration. And anaerobic respiration includes fermentation. So it's fermentation or anaerobic respiration. So aerobic versus anaerobic processes. You're going to discuss this, okay? Now, make sure you watch my video on this, because this will help you tremendously. And instead of you digging through those chapters and figuring out what's important there, just watch the video. I promise it won't take you long, and you'll find all the answers you need. You're also going to discuss how ancient glycolysis is. Glycolysis is not separate from aerobic and anaerobic respiration processes. It is the first pathway in all of them, okay? So glycolysis. Glycolysis means glyco is sugar, lysis means to break. It's breaking in half a glucose molecule. So you're going to figure out why we consider it very, very ancient. Is oxygen required for it? Do all organisms use it? Is it the first step in all these pathways? Hint, hint, hint. So anyway, and then you're going to discuss ethanol used as a biofuel, because of course ethanol is added to a lot of our gasoline now. All right, so that's your journal entry for this week. And then you got your milestone 2 for your final project. And this is the most important section of your final project, because here's all the biology. What's the whole point of this final project? For you to apply biology, what you've learned, to this particular topic that you have chosen. So here is all the biology. This is milestone 2, but it is the 3rd section of your final project. Level of organization. At what level of organization does your topic occur? So if you're talking about global warming, climate change, that affects the entire biosphere, down to the depths of the ocean as far as you find life, through the oceans, up into the atmosphere, on all land, right? Climate change affects all organisms on the whole planet. But then if you're talking about something like eutrophication of a lake near you, then what level of organization is that? Well, that's going to be an ecosystem, the ecosystem of that particular lake, right? Or if you're talking about genetically modified organisms, it might be one particular species that's affected. So at what level of organization, going from atom all the way to the biosphere, does your topic impact living things? Analysis. These 2 sections, analysis and relationship to topic, are probably the most important ones in the whole project. Analysis. So you're going to figure out 3 biological concepts or processes that pertain to your topic. And in the analysis section, you are going to describe these. So if you choose photosynthesis, evolution, and the decay process, okay? Decay, decomposition. You're going to describe what these are as if your audience doesn't know what they are or doesn't understand them completely. So what is photosynthesis? What is the decay or decomposition process? What is evolution? That's the analysis section. The relationship to topic is how your topic ties into those three biological concepts. Okay, does that make sense? So you discuss decay and decomposition in the analysis section, and then in your relationship to topic section, if you're looking at eutrophication, for example, you would discuss how the death of microscopic organisms in the water, and then how they fall down to the bottom of the body of water and end up in the sediment, how that affects eutrophication, how eutrophication is connected to that. Characteristics of life, you're going to choose one of those 8 or 9 characteristics of life from week 1, and you're going to show how that is affected by one of those biological concepts or processes. And finally, the last section for this particular milestone, the impact on health. So you're going to choose one of those processes that you've already selected and describe how it impacts either human or ecological environmental health, or both. That's fine with me. And make sure you use real-world examples. If you're talking about eutrophication of a lake, then how does photosynthesis affect human health or environmental health? Well, the photosynthesis of algae species uses up all the oxygen in the water, and then all the other species die. So, that's affecting environmental health. Can those algae also affect human health? They sure can. They produce things like red tides, algal blooms, and they are detrimental to humans, pets, all the animals in the body of water, all the plant life in the body of water. So there are lots of examples of that. Okay, so that milestone 2 is due this coming Sunday also. So notice that you got 3 things that you're working on. Plus, if you're taking the lab, you're also doing that germinating pea experiment this week. All right, my tip of the week is, if you get stumped, ask for help. That's why I'm here. I am here to help you be successful in this class. So if you need help, all you have to do is ask me anytime. Now, I'm probably not going to email you back at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I'll get back to you within a day, sometimes within a few minutes. So remember to ask me if you need help. m.sigmon@snhu.edu. I'm here for you. Okay, I hope that you have a wonderful, busy week, and I'll be talking to you soon.